Yo, what's up everyone? It's Brian and Jim from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame. And is everyone out there tired of this cold shit weather? Because we know we are. Anyway, today we're here to review Slalom for the NES.
Alright. Originally released in 1986 in the arcades, this was later ported to the NES in 1987. Of all the games out there, Slalom. Anyway, whatever the hell this is. It's some dumb skiing game, but it turned out to be the last of the NES Black Box games. Not only that, it was also the first console game developed by Rare. You know who Rare is, right? That company that made every good game on the N64 before it got bought by Microsoft and went to shit.
They're pretty rare.
Now it's puns. First it's got it, and now it's puns. Good.
So graphically, first thing I want to get out of the way. Whoever designed this skier, they think they're pretty funny.
Look at that ass. It looks like he's wearing nothing at all.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Stupid sexy Flanders.
Yeah, I don't know who did that, but kudos, sir. I respect that. That's pretty goddamn funny. Anyway, looking at these graphics, they're very similar to Mach Rider, except maybe not as colorful. I mean, we have to say, just like Mach Rider, this game, the scrolling is really smooth. The colors, although they're nice and bright, it's almost monochrome in the sense that most of your screen is gray and the background never really changes. Sure, from peak to peak, there's a slightly different mountain set, but for the most part, it's the same thing over and over. But we really didn't want to undercut the score too much, so as you see, we both gave it 5s. And I'm gonna put in 2 beers for that.
Alright, the sound. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to the Olympics, much less Ow!
Get it right!
Fine. Alright.
Swallow.
Slinky. Anyway, so, the sound in Slinky's pretty good. Well, the sound that you get. You get a song, and it's good, it's nice, it's up-tempo, it's kinda catchy. It's just very short. And it loops, 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 and it loops. Very common for old NES games, I know, but it's still gotta be said about it. The sound effects, there's not that many, unfortunately. So it's kind of a case of what you get is good, but you don't get a lot of it. So, unfortunately, we couldn't give it much more than 5s each. It's fine, it gets the job done, nothing wrong with it, just not enough of it. So, on that note, I'll give it 1 beer. Just because, if you're gonna have to listen to the same song over and over, you might as well have a buzz.
The control in this game, just like its name, is pretty goddamn odd for us. While there's nothing glaringly negative to say, it's just clearly not perfect. It's a very simple control scheme. You're just zigzagging left to right, you're speeding up with one button, and you're jumping with the other. It's very basic, and for the most part, it's fine. I will say, when there's too much things on the screen, it can feel a little laggy, and some of the jumps you might call bullshit if you fall, but really, there's nothing too bad. But for such a simplistic control scheme, we couldn't give it too high a score. So as you see, I gave it a 7, Jim gave it a 5. I'm gonna add 1 more beer, because this is just an odd-ass game all around.
Alright, the gameplay. Not to sound like a broken record, but we've said it before. You don't get a lot in this department, but what you get is pretty good. What are you doing in Slalom? Well, you're really just going down a hill and avoiding obstacles and trying to get to the finish line before time runs out. Very simple mechanic, but hell, it works. And it's weirdly fun. You get, a couple different tracks, man, they all get progressively harder, but you're just doing the same thing again and again. We gave it 5s, it's very simple, and I'll give it another 2 beers just because they could have crammed a lot more onto a cartridge.
So as I previously mentioned, this game is modeled almost identically to Mach Rider, except you don't have a motorcycle and you're not shooting your enemies. I will say this is the first skiing game, to our knowledge, to come to the NES, and we gave it points basically just for that. Nothing else about it was real original. We ended up both giving it 5s. There's not a lot to say. I'm going to add 2 beers because, like Jim said, they could have offered something to spice it up a little bit, but instead I think Rare just wanted to really make a good impression on Nintendo and stick to a formula that seems to work just like Mach Rider.
Alright, Replayability. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of replayability in old shitbag here. You have the one game mode, you have a couple different tracks, you know, you can go for better times, and really, it takes a couple playthroughs in order to really get the hang of the game and the tracks enough, so you're gonna play it again and again if you want to beat it, but honestly, there's just not a lot here. As you know, we have the blanket rule where sports games get a minimum of a 5, so we're kind of gonna fall back on that here. Should there be an exception? Probably, but hey, sticking to our guns. So, we both gave it 5s, and hell. I'll add 3 beers just for the lack of anything but what you get.
So overall, as the last NES Black Box game, it's like most early NES games. It's actually fairly fun to play, but its repetitive nature kind of lends itself to, you might get nostalgic once in a while and be like, hey, let's play some Slalom, blah, 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 blah. And then you play it for 10 to 20 minutes and you're done. You don't hate the game, I don't imagine there's too many people out there that are going crazy and having conventions for this. We didn't mind it. It could have done so much more, but hey, we're not hating on it either. So, in the end, we both gave it 5s. Just enjoy those beers while you're playing this game. You could probably have more fun if you make some type of drinking game out of this. Hey, maybe we should do that.
What would ever give you that idea?
Alright, and as far as the beer pairing is concerned, we're gonna go with the First Snow Ale, released by R.J. Rocker's Brewing Company. This is an above-average winter warmer beer that I think it would complement a game like this pretty well. You don't want to go and use your best beers for this game, but you definitely don't want to just be drinking Miller Lite. As always, guys, thanks for checking out our video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up or subscribe. Either way, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.